G'day, legends, and welcome to the Pot Noodle. Hope you're all doing well. Especially you, RL77. I don't never start the show bringing up a comment, but we're already there. We've won the league again. Fly the flag. Fly the bloody flag. 100%. Happy days. How you doing, Liam?
Yep, absolutely. Good. I was at the doctor's the other day, true story, and I got some medicine for a wee minor stomach issue I've got. And the medicine is basically to produce more stomach acid to help my digestion. I just thought there's something quite funny about me being prescribed synthetic bile on the day we play the Huns, isn't there?
How you going, Shane?
I don't know how I can top that. I am top of the world, mate. It's a beautiful day, busy weekend, lots of different sporting events and things on. But a few results didn't go my way, but a really big one did on Saturday night, and was good to celebrate that with yourself and others at the CSC, mate. Good to catch up with you as always.
Oh, it was a brilliant night, packed to the rafters, and wouldn't want it any other way. For those who haven't checked it out on our YouTube channel, there's a Glasgow Derby Day vlog there. So what's happened is, like, John is over in the UK at the moment. He's over in Scotland. So he went to the game. So he's filmed some stuff at the game, then grabbed some photos and some videos and stuff that we've all shared in the group chat of us seeing the games over here and put it all together. So it's just a Celtic Down Under Glasgow Derby experience for you. It's let's just say it's the best performing video we've ever had on this channel, so probably more of that will be coming in the future. But we'll just for you, Jared, we'll crack on, and we'll get straight into the game. So Celtic 2, Sevco 1 in the Glasgow Derby. You bloody beauty! Hey, we made that game a little bit more difficult than it needed to be. We're talking about that after the game, Shane, but yeah, I'll just in general, yeah, I think we made it a little bit harder than it needed to be. But yeah, we'll bring up the starting lineup and we'll discuss that. I thought I'd uploaded it in here, but clearly I didn't. So good start to the show. It was pretty much what we thought it was going to be. It was discussed on pretty much all our shows last week. So yeah, we had the usual suspects at the back. So Hart and goals, Johnson, Carter, Vickers, Scales and Taylor, McGregor, O'Reilly and Hatate in the middle, and then Forrest Mader and Kyogo up front. And as a serve thing of that, they came out with Butland in goal, Tavernier, Suter, Davis and Barisic, Lundstram, Diamonde and Lawrence, Sterling, Silva and Dessers. So when we saw that, I'll go to you first, Shane. What was your thoughts on the lineups when you saw it?
Well, on last week's pod, I didn't actually think Maeda would start. I thought Rogers might persist with Forrest on the left and keep Corn on the right. And pretty much everyone else across all of the episodes of our channel were very much in the camp of Maeda coming on and Forrest moving to the right. And crucially, so was Brendan. So he didn't listen to me and he listened to all you learned people. And that was good because it worked out very well. Look, it was a solid lineup. I was pretty content with what we were putting out there. I knew exactly what we were going to get from Maeda on the left. Forrest had been in wonderful form on the right. I think everyone else really picks themselves. There wasn't any other question marks. To comment on their lineup very briefly, I hadn't really kept up to speed with where they were at. I commented to you at the time. I was a little bit surprised by the amount of players I had out injured. But even then, I think they set themselves up really to kind of just disrupt us in the middle of the park and do whatever they could to kind of stop any flow or control in the middle. So with that in mind, I was interested to see, rather, how it was going to play out. But I was a little nervous beforehand. I can't lie.
Yeah, so Shane, about half hour before the game, looks at me and goes, all right, I'm starting to get nervous. And that's when it hit him. So for me, I was like, and my response to you, Shane, was, I'm on the other side of the world. No matter what I'm doing or what I think's not going to change anything, so let's just get it up them.
That's true. That is true. I can confirm that.
Yeah, Liam, what was your thoughts when you saw the lineup and going into the game?
I mean, it was exactly the lineup that I thought we were going to go with. Forrest has been in great form recently, undroppable. And I thought that Maeda, if fit, would play, and turns out he was fit. And for me, he was man of the match, to be quite honest. But yeah, I just thought it was exactly as expected. And they set up with the clear aim of trying to spoil our game by flooding the midfield. And if I was a Rangers fan, which thank God I'm not, it would be extremely disappointing to see my team get out with a game that they have to win to have any chance of winning the league and play so negatively. Because from the moment we kicked off, it seemed like they were on a damage limitation exercise. They were inviting us on.
Yeah, that was a little surprising. Like I said on Thursday's pod that we're going to win by 2 goals, but I thought it'd be one in it. They'd come out to play towards the end there, last 10, 15 minutes. They'd start to attack us a bit more and we'd score. And so I thought it was going to be close. But yeah, the fact that they came out, as you said there, Liam, and as Celtic Corner saying here, we set up to play our game. They set up to attempt to stop our game. Based on that, it wasn't what I was expecting. I thought they'd come out and have a crack at us because, a draw suited us, a win suited us. They had to beat us. So, yeah, it was a little bit of an interesting one. So, with the result being the way it is, all I have to say is their victory lap at Ibrox a couple of weeks back has come back to haunt them. Don't worry, I kept all the receipts in my bookmarks and stuff on Twitter. I've got a few things there. Don't you worry. I'm just waiting. Give them a couple of days till they start to let the rage dissipate from them, and then bang, bang, bang. I'll just go on the warpath. Should be fun if I can be bothered.
No, I mean it's like I said to Shane just before we went live. I got these new specs last week, and I don't know what's wrong. I still can't see the Rangers coming.
You almost said that as we were going live, Liam. I thought that was going to be the first thing someone heard. That's behind the paywall, everyone. So, yeah, just a general chat about the first half. I think for me it was a game where we were getting all the dominant chances. Their goal, we'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. But, like, we're saying at the time, Shane, that Matt O'Reilly could have a hat trick by halftime. It was like the free kick. There was another couple. He got his goal. So overall, it was one of them where we were just the dominant team. If we were up 3 or 4 goals at halftime, no one could have questioned that. So for me, I just thought we were a little wasteful, and I had this thing in the pit of my stomach. I'm just like, if we keep wasting like this, you're inviting them onto you. And then what happens? I don't know if I said it to you, Shane, or one of the other guys at the table we were at, but I said that. Then we've got Lundstram's own goal, and then they've come and scored. And I'm like, that's what I was worried about. So it was, a bit of an interesting one there. But overall, I thought the first half can't have too many issues with it. Willie Collins, an absolute fud of a referee, and long may the good guys win the derbies. But yeah, first half, O'Reilly's goal was good. But I'll go to you, Shane.
Well, I'll sort of circle back to a little bit of what I was saying before in regards to the nervousness, and it is actually in relation to what Liam was touching on before. They had to come to Paradise. They had to leave with all 3 points. And so the nervousness was sort of stemming from the fact that I thought that and I think I said this to you pre-game, that they were going to come out, look to score early, and then sit in and basically try and play the low block against us for however long was left. So because we've been a bit Jekyll and Hyde this season, I was just wanting to make sure we got off to a good start and that we had a decent first 45. And we almost scored within the minute. It took a pretty good reactionary save from Butland that stopped a Suter own goal. And I don't think we ever really looked back. I felt we really controlled the game in that first 45. I felt the way that they set up had no influence on what we did. I thought the way we moved the ball and our movement ahead of the ball, crucially, was really important. We were looking to get and feed our wide players really early. We were not looking to let them set up. Our midfield absolutely hummed, and that was a big factor. They set up to kind of curtail our midfield and reduce its influence, but McGregor and O'Reilly in particular, they absolutely strolled it in that first 45. They weren't without chances. They had a couple of brief openings, but overall, we could have easily gone in, as you said, at halftime, 4-0 up or 3-0 up, or even 4-1 if you want to give them their goal. And nobody would have batted an eyelid because of just how dominant we were in that first half. They couldn't really lay a glove on us. And it was a really impressive 45 minutes of football.
Liam, what do you got to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, we should have been probably 3 or 4 up by halftime. It was actually the best performance I've seen against them probably since we scalped them 4-0 about 18 months ago. That was the last time I remember us dominating them to that extent. Yeah, just it's amazing that they got in at halftime only a goal down.
Yeah, for me in the first half, like there's a couple of areas of the pitch, like you guys have already mentioned the midfield, and I said at the time I thought Hatate was very, you didn't really notice him in the first half in particular. Like you could see Kelmack, you could see O'Reilly, and Hatate. I may have said it at a certain point with some frustration that he's a bit of a wasted jersey out there at a certain point in time. I know I did say that because I just thought when they started to get a little bit of in the middle and the battle was getting a bit tough, I'm like, where is he? But after having rewatched the game, I retract that statement, Rio-san. I apologize. Now, on that as well, two things on the rewatch and something we noticed as well at the pub was Maeda's work rate in pinning Tavernier in was massive. But on the right-hand side in the first half in particular, the link-up play between Forrest and Johnson and the way those two are working together was just amazing. It was great to see. I really enjoyed watching the two of them play and how they're building that up. And then you factor those two and then you put O'Reilly into that as well. And those three are just like moving the ball and just everyone's clicking into gear at the right time of the season. So it's, it was great to see, all things considered.
If I can just touch on the Hatate thing for a second, because I was similar to you when watching the game, but having a look back at it as well and the benefit from hindsight, I think the reason was partly due to just how well McGregor and O'Reilly were playing. They shone so brightly that Hatate didn't have his best game by any stretch, but in comparison to those two who were absolutely bossing it, he looked maybe off the pace when in actual fact he wasn't that bad at all. So yeah, completely agree with that as well.
Yep, 100%. As Pete's saying here, I like Hatate. The reason he doesn't stand out so much is he keeps the game simple, which is harder than it sounds. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. On the rewatch, when the emotions were going in the derby, I may have been critical. Having rewatched it, as I said, I've retracted it. He played well, and it's funny when you're watching a game live in a pub with like 300 people, there's no room, everyone's just like, ugh, and then the TV keeps cutting in and out, and the Celtic TV feed was pretty shit. But and then you actually get the
it was too.
And then you get in here and it's like rewatch the game, no pressure, you know the result, and you're like, okay, I may have been a bit harsh here. Yeah, so at the Melbourne CSC, we had Celtic TV cut out a few times in the first half, and the first goal was missed by everyone in the pub except for two groups. As soon as it happened, Shane, you're looking around going, what's going on here? Well, I'll get my phone out, log in, and I'll put the phone on the table and we're watching it. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're celebrating. And everyone's like, looks at us. And then there's another group, the other side going, yeah, at the same time. And then I lift the phone up, go, we're celebrating. And then the pub went nuts. It was great fun. The closest thing I could ever have to scoring a goal for Celtic for myself, I reckon. It was such a great feeling.
Good old Celtic TV, always at least 3 minutes behind the actual coverage.
It was quite interesting actually because of the fact that you had the two groups and Jared's stream was clearly ahead of the second group, so there was a delayed reaction.
Like a 20-second delay between us and them, and they were like maybe 5 meters away from us over by the bar. It was brilliant. It was good fun though.
Thing is, the amount of times that my phone beeps while the other team are on the attack, and then have Celtic scored, have they scored? I don't know, and you have to wait like 90 seconds for it to catch up.
Well, usually when I'm watching the game, I'll just like put the phone on the actual do not disturb setting. I'm like, do not disturb. I don't want to know. I'll look at the group chat at halftime or whatever. It's the only way to do it. But yeah, so first half, the goals, pretty good. We can talk about a certain thing that happened here called a red card for Lundstram. As you said at the time, Shane, and I was like spot on. My exact words to you were clear and obvious. You said that's what VAR's for. Willie Collum giving a yellow when it's clear as day red card. And then VAR getting involved and looking at it, showing him and go, okay, yeah, it's not a yellow, it's a red. 100%. And that was another one we were watching on the phone when it happened too.
That's right, yeah. Because it dropped out, but it was a horrible tackle. Let's not sugarcoat this. He comes flying in. He's late. He has absolutely no control, and he catches Johnston above the ankle with the studs. How Colin missed that in real time, I'm not sure, but as you were alluding to our conversation in the pub, that's exactly what VAR is for. A clear and obvious missed or a clear and obvious decision that's been missed, a wrong decision, and it corrects it. And that was as clear a day red as you'll ever see. And I'm glad we had VAR in that case to overturn that, because it would have been horrible if he got to stay on the pitch after putting in a tackle like that. It was ridiculous. The more I look at it, the more I rewatch it, the more I realize just how bad it is. He's absolutely reckless. Absolutely reckless. It's dangerous, and it's a deserved red, and there should be no debate about it.
As Celtic Corner's saying here, idiot didn't even need to make the tackle.
He
was never going to win the ball. That was I'm just going to try and clatter someone tackle.
Aye, it's what my dad calls the obligatory "I'm a hun" tackle. They're getting beat. They're frustrated. One of them just flies in to remind their fans that it's all about blood and snorters in the absence of ability or basic skill. You know?
Yep. And then the commentary when that happening, Kenny Miller, the Miller Meltdown special. Wow. We've got here from Jerry Burns, what a muppet Kenny Miller is. That tackle was a straight red. It could have been a leg breaker. Yep. And then you've got Pegleg saying Miller made an absolute fool of himself. That's not really hard. But yeah, it was just the whole don't back down, double down sort of thing that he's done the day after as well. I'm like, you're just an absolute moron. Like, that's the easiest way to sum it up.
I hope I'm not going to steal Liam's thunder, because I'm sure he's got something for Kenny.
No, go ahead.
It is embarrassing. The rhetoric, both immediately post game and then his willingness to continue to dig himself into that trench, is just embarrassing. To suggest it's not a red in real time, but to then even go to the extent of saying, well, if we didn't have VAR, he's probably not getting sent off. He's possibly the only person on planet Earth that actually thinks that's not a straight red. And I can't believe some of the absolute garbage that he spilled trying to defend it. He really needs to pull his head in, because it was dead set a joke what he was trying to argue. And the only humor in it, really, if you were watching the footage just post match, was the wonderful facial expressions of Chris Sutton right next to him on camera, the eyes sort of wide open, and then the kind of the side glance of, are you for real? Who is this guy? Yeah, he he's embarrassed himself. He really has. I know I keep using that word, but I can't think of any other word to describe him and his way of trying to defend that tackle.
I'm waiting for the say the line to have meme sort of thing to be used for that tackle. I was disappointed. Yeah, you got Pegleg is saying he was trying to make up for the own goal. Stephen Ray is saying that's known as a big Hun tackle. Kaiser is saying he wanted an early shower and that blue top off as much as their fans wanted it off him. RO77 was, couldn't he have just stared at Johnson really hard? Celtic Corner saying the elbow to the back of Rio's head was missed too.
I mean, in fairness, he's got a whole team of Johnsons to stare at if he's at Ibrox, isn't he?
Yeah. Lundstram meltdown after the own goal. Yeah, I think we just touched on this one, Maestro, where we're saying, if I can get that comment going, about the forearm smash Monday to Hatada. Yep, that should have been one as well. Pete McGee here. Miller, by the rules of the game, yes, it's a red card, but I don't think it's a red because you're absolute knobhead.
Thank God Kenny Miller's not a doctor. Can you imagine going into the emergency ward? He's like, aye, it's a bullet wound, but I think it just needs a sticking plaster. There you go.
Yeah.
It's just a flesh wound.
Andrew's saying red all day. Lundstram lost the plot. Maestro's saying it's a red even in the 70s, Kenny.
Absolutely.
Pete McGee, hey, Kenny. Went in a deep hole, stopped digging. And Pegleg, Miller made Chris Boyd look like an intelligent analyst. That's the scary part.
I mean, that was for me. That was the funniest bit of it when Chris Boyd was like, "Mate, I want to defend you, but even he wasn't going to touch it." He's like, "This is such an outrageous, nonsensical way to go that even Chris Boyd wanted nothing to do with it." You know?
Stephen Ray's got another one here where he's saying. Graham Souness less than an hour ago on TalkSport said AJ made the most of it.
Oh,
well, there you have it, straight from the horse's arse.
This is it all. Yep. And the last one we'll go here about him is RL77 Miller, peanut on a sunbed. Yeah, it was just ridiculous, that comment, but I thought we've got to have a bit of a chuckle at him. That stupid thing there. So, Shane, I'll let you have the general chat about the second half.
Well, I think the red card was the defining factor in this game, to be honest. I didn't see... I felt pretty confident going in at halftime where we were. I didn't think they'd threatened at all during the first half. I just didn't see them throwing caution to the wind. There was just nothing about the way that they were sort of set up and the way that they were playing that I thought that we had anything to fear in the second half anyway. But when they went down to 10, I was pretty comfortable we were going to see out the game from there. I think it was more of a controlled performance in the second half. We still had our chances. We still created a fair few. Maeda got on a couple. Could have had a brace in the end, but for sake of not staying on side, he did not. But overall, I thought we did a good job of still controlling the game, and they didn't create anything in that second half. Even down to 10, a game that they needed to get 3 points out of. They're only 2-1 behind. They didn't create anything. And if anything, we could have we obviously had the save penalty and then a couple of other chances. We could have easily gone on and won, 4 or 5-1. And again, it would have actually reflected the dominance in the game. But I don't think we lowered our colours at all in the second 45. I think we may not have gone at the same breakneck speed we did in the first half, but we still controlled and dictated the game. And overall, a pleasing whole game performance, to be honest with you.
And Liam, what's your thoughts on the second half?
Yeah, I mean, at the time watching it, like you guys touched on earlier, I was uptight. I was like, oh God, we're hanging on here. Oh no, we're going to blow it. But see, when you watch it back in hindsight without the anxiety of watching it live, they barely laid a glove on us. I don't know if they even managed a shot on target in that second half.
They had one shot on target the whole game. That was the Dessa's header.
And we could have had another 3 or 4 goals in that second half. There was the 2 Ida chances. There was my Ida goal, which was offside. But, if he just delayed his run a wee bit, he could have maybe get in. it could easily have been 5 or 6-1. And at the time, I don't think I fully appreciated just how much in control we actually were for most of that game. And yeah, it's on one hand, it's brilliant that we beat them. We're just about winning the league. But on the other hand, I'm like, we could have absolutely massacred them on Saturday if we'd just been a bit more potent in front of goal. But, well, there's still a cup final to come, and I don't see them getting any better between now and then. So you never know.
The funny thing on that, Liam, is, as I said, we could have been 3 or 4 up at half time. Yet we had scored 2 at that point. So we could have realistically had five goals by half, 4 or 5 at half time. Then Matt scores the penalty.
O'Reilly alone would have had 4 if he'd have scored the penalty.
Yeah, I was going to say, Matt scores the penalty, and as John Clements is saying here, bottom line, if Matt scores a penalty, it would have been 4, 5, 6. Exactly. Yeah. So coulda, shoulda, woulda, didn't is the old saying, but at the end of the day, we still got the win. So, suck on them lemons, I suppose. Now, the O'Reilly penalty, wins the penalty, VAR gets involved, ridiculously long, review thing happened. And Andrew's saying here, with such a delay for the penalty, it would have been good if the skipper took the ball off O'Reilly and gave it to someone else. I don't know about that. I just think there was really no need for VAR to get involved on that. But yeah, it's a bit of a doozy, really. So yeah, I think, as Liam said, do a number on him in the cup final. I said to Shane on the weekend, the top I want us to wear in the cup final is, the top that came out at the start of the season. It was the one with the white and green logos and badges, so it looks like the Lisbon Lions top. When the cup final's on the 25th of May, it makes too much sense not to wear that top in the cup final. So I'd love to see that, but we'll discuss the cup final a bit more when that comes along. So second half goals ruled out for offside. It was funny at one point, Shane, you'll jump around going, yeah, celebrating on one, and I'm just like, offside. I remember I pissed myself laughing. You're like, no. And then you look at them, yeah, good call.
Yeah, I think that was the obvious one that was offside too. I had a look at it. Like, they showed the across the line footage. I think that was the one I turned to you and said I got a bit frustrated because he was looking directly across the line. I thought he should have had a better understanding whether he was offside or not.
Then his run, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, as Liam, you were saying, the nervous ending to the game, that was just a bit of an interesting one, all things considered, because it was like as I said early on, it seemed like we were wasteful, and I was just sitting there going, no, don't invite them in, don't let them get that late goal. And, I was pretty happy with how things played out, all things considered there. So, yeah, good win. So I'll bring up some comments before we get into our player focus on the derby. So what do we got here? Andrew's saying Mater was fantastic. RL77, Phillips Cement is a perfect combination of Beal and Pedro. Like that one. Baltimore lost it completely before this match. The moral victory and fun comments pushed him over the edge, and then there was that incomprehensible babbling about a Colosseum.
Well, if anybody knows a thing or two about a Rogering, it's the Romans. I mean, come on.
Michael McDonald, the only thing that was close was the score. Andrews, I just rewatched the first half. We dominated from the start. Pete McGee, where's my oxygen? It's rare at this altitude. John Clemens, that cheer Mater got when coming on against Hearts has made him realise how much he's loved and brought him out of his shell. Last player I would have thought of seeing diving into the crowd. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Gave me Jota vibes. When he'd go and the sort of the vibe he had when he's in the crowd and celebrating and all that sort of stuff. It was giving off that sort of vibes to me. Mickey is saying Hun scalped. Michael Ross, hail champions. Stephen Ray, the last few weeks has been great. However, never again should the Celtic board be allowed to sleepwalk into this situation. Money should be on the park and not in the bank. We will discuss that topic in particular later in the episode. So I just wanted to bring that comment up now as a little teaser for later on. Michael Ross Mader is magic. Love your profile pic, by the way, Michael. He's great. Mickey Moynihan, the game Mader had, again, plus his new hair color has made my ball sack fashionable again. I didn't read all that before I brought it on the screen, so that could have gone anywhere.
I'm curious about the fashionable again part of it, but we'll see how we go.
Having said that about Hatade, I would say Kilmarnock and O'Reilly won another planet. Absolutely epic performances.
I was going to say, speaking of ball bags, but we've already discussed Kenny Miller, haven't we?
Yep. Maestro saying Forrest going forward, inside, outside, left, AJ. Yep. It was good fun. And then I had random animations. I'm starting to worry I might not outlive the banter years. Loving your work. Long may the banter years continue. Get your funny comments in, because we're going to go on a little tangent or two in a couple of minutes. So we're going to dig into a whole bunch of certain things, memes in the Hun Meltdown. It's gonna be fun. I was showing the boys a few off air, so yeah, we're gonna go. What else? I was looking to make sure if we got any others here. Yeah, have to bring this one up because he loves it. Couldn't play well. Good on you, Jared. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to find that comment. So, yeah, player focus. You got anyone you guys want to touch on? We'll go one player that we haven't already discussed massively.
I'll let Liam go first, because all the players that I wanted to highlight I've already talked about. I've got one more in mind, but I'll let Liam go first.
Go on, Liam.
Dyson Maeda, take a bow, mate. You've really, that was for me one of his best games in a Celtic shirt. Really good in an attacking sense, but also his defensive work was excellent. I counted about 3 or 4 different occasions where a Rangers player was coming away with the ball, and within 2 or 3 strides, Maeda had not only got back, but had also taken the ball off him. It's like when you're in primary school and you're playing against the guys that are like 3 or 4 years older than you. Like, right, you give me that. They just go away with it. You know, that's what Maeda just absolutely bossed them. And I thought again, as usual, his work rate was phenomenal. And I hope that a lot of people watching that game at the weekend are maybe going to have a new appreciation for just how much hard work he does when he's not on the ball at the weekend. I mean, it speaks to the state of Rangers, but their biggest attacking threat is Tavernier. And he was completely neutralised, because when he wasn't chasing Maeda was chasing him down. It was just, he couldn't get anywhere.
Who would have thought that Maeda, who copped a hard time for so long from elements of the support, all he had to do was grow his hair, look like Eminem for a little bit, and then get injured and come back in record speed, and suddenly he becomes that cult hero that he's always had the ability to be. It's just great to see. Shane, I'm going to jump in and talk about one now, just in case, just so I can try and hopefully steal one from you. But I wanted to talk about CCV. When you watch the game, the less I hear of the centre-back's name being commentated, the better, in my opinion. Particularly because it means we're not recycling the ball over and over and over again. The job he did defensively, when called upon, and just his positioning to allow guys to push forward like Johnson and cover for him if he was out of position, cover in the midfield if things broke down. I think he was just cool, calm and collected that whole game. Nothing fazed him. It was unflappable, and it was just another top performance from him. But he's not getting any credit during the game or after the game, because everyone's talking about Maeda, everyone's talking about O'Reilly and Kilmarnock and all this, that, and the other. Sometimes you can overlook your centre back, so I just want to give him some credit for once.
You didn't steal that from me. That's okay. I didn't have CCV on the list. I just want to comment on the Maeda one really quickly. And I agree with everything Liam said, but just on the impact that he had, I don't recall seeing Tavernier have such a poor game against us. He had absolutely no involvement. I don't remember him getting forward at all. I don't remember him being able to put a cross in or anything like that. He was effectively pinned in his own half for what felt like the whole 90. The only time he got forward was set pieces. And that's just testament to the work rate of Maeda. And obviously, you know, the pressure that he puts on that Tavernier, who, as you said, Liam, is pretty much their main goal-scoring threat, or can be, literally can't get out of his own half because he's too worried about what that might mean in return and so forth. But I just wanted to highlight again, and it's a couple of weeks in a row now, Jamesy Forrest. We've already waxed lyrical about Callum McGregor and Matt O'Reilly and Dyson Maeda, but Jamesy Forrest is up there in conversation for as one of the best players on the park. And particularly early on, what I love about Jamesy is he's such an intelligent footballer. His wing play is just so smart. And he's up against Barisic. And when he gets the ball, he just seems to know exactly what he needs to do. He gets the ball, he knows I need to cut in here. I've got him, I'm going to cut inside here. Or he'll know that I can hit him, you know, I can get around him, I can hit the byline. Sometimes you see some wingers and they look a little bit uncertain, and sometimes they might seem like they're a little bit lost, or they try and go to the byline when they should cut in. But watching James these past few weeks, his intelligence just shines through. And he's got this new lease of life since he's come into the team as well. And, you know, he was crucial to a lot of our attacking forays in that first half, in conjunction with AJ down the right, but also, as you said, Liam, that link up of Ben O'Reilly. So credit to him. He's done an awesome job since he's been called upon, and he's not getting displaced from the starting 11 anytime soon.
John Clements agrees. Jamesy Forrest, what a comeback. I said to you the other day, Shane, I'm like, he's gone from being out on his ass basically in January. There was talk that he was potentially leaving, going to the US, to being the most informed player in the league for the last couple of weeks. So it's great to see. I have a question. Is there a chant for Days and Maeda yet or not?
No, I don't think so, but there should be.
Because I kind of just came up with one seeing this from RL77, the Maeda's Touch. You know that song, I've got the Midas Touch, everything I touch turns to gold? Is it that? I've got Maeda's Touch, everything I touch turns to gold. It could work.
Yeah.
Could work in a terrace. Get it sorted, Green Brigade. And just give us credit.
I've got the Midas Touch, Tavernier, get to fuck.
Yep, something like that. There we go. I was trying to figure out how you could put Tavernier in his back pocket during the song too. Dominic, I'll bring this up now. Massive week coming up for the girls, equal on points with them, but we've got far better, superior goal difference. So good luck to the girls. So, yeah, well, it's time for some good old-fashioned zombie watch. Here we go. Here we fucking go. It's time to bring up a few random things. So, first of all, I thought to bring this up earlier. How the hell is that there? Not a red card. And the reason I'm bringing that up on the screen now is I'm just trying to find this one here. It's the Simpsons quote. Miller was left fuming after John Lundstram was sent off on a fart check. I'm a stupid moron with an ugly face and a big butt, and my butt smells, and I like to kiss my own butt. Kenny Miller.
That's greater flexibility than Miller actually has, I think.
And that's what I said it from. People disagree with my Rangers red card defense, but there's only one reason I won't back down, and it is because of the Simpsons quote. So there's that one. The other one I was trying to find is... here we go. By the letter of the law, it's a red card, but it's never a red card. So now
that quote's going to come back to haunt him for sure.
Yeah, I was tempted to use that as a thumbnail for tonight's episode, but I didn't want to scare people off from watching. Raging.
The Undertaker himself.
Welcome to the House of Fun. There's me and Shane at the CSC.
Hey.
Couple of good-looking heads there. Talking about the people in the background, not us. Lundstram's first half against Celtic. 2 of 6 ground duels won. 1 of 3 aerial duels won. 1 of 3 successful duels. 1 own goal. 1 red card. All in the first half. That's just brilliant.
And the successful dribble was probably doing his own shot.
Yep. How good is this looking?
Oh, superb.
Yet they think they stole our TIFO a few weeks back. Yet, that's the levels that we get. There's levels to this shit.
Oh.
So, from Follow, Bardo Perso 9. You can ban me for this one, I don't care. Fuck this squad, every single one of you can leave in the summer. Cowards and fucking imposters. It's been a pleasure, folks. I'm on my last warning on this site, so they'll ban me. This will be the end of me. Fuck this squad. Dazen, getting this cuddle. It's the best.
That's my favourite photo from the weekend.
This is the best. I think it's supposed to figure it out like a chant or something. Oh, baby, do what? Baby.
He's missing a word. Do you know what that's worth?
Yeah, do you know what that's worth? John Lundstram is the best on earth. The Silky Scouser is just what we need. He's going to win us the Scottish League. No, he just cost you it. It's got 2 surely, man.
Oh.
There's this one. Pennsylvania shite. Connor Goldson shite. Lundstram shite. Clement shite. Union Bears shite. Fuck the league. We get to some good stuff. Get in, Dessers. That's them celebrating.
Oh.
Do you think Jared would come back to us if we gave him a 25 million transfer, Kitty?
Oh, God. Do you think the Spice Girls would pump me if I wasn't morbidly obese and fucking 40?
This AOL one, Hans, let's have some fun. We surrender. Stacks is like, I've not loved a manager like this since Walter. Real manager who's brought back the feel-good factor. Proper Ranger. When was that? In December.
They never learn. They just never, ever learn.
And it is hilarious. Runners Up Football Club. I love that logo. It's the best. The zombie in the middle gets me every time. Here's a fun one for you. So if you have a look, for the last 20 titles, 4 of them, liquidated club, one with EBTs. They're only one on here. Title 1 during pandemic with no fans. Every other one on there is us. So in your box. There's that Lundstram one. Here's another one for you. Key passes, none. Tackles, none. Intercepts, none. Fouls, 2. Red cards, 1. Dispossessed, 1. Own goal, 1.
Half the money he's on.
Scotland in a world gone mad. Only a lunatic is truly insane. Kenny, we're worried about you. This is the other Kenny Miller one I was looking for before.
That's
There's absolutely no way JFK's been shot there. The coroner's gone and given it. It's not a shooting.
A wee silver cameo in the background diving at the deck there as well.
Paddy Powers one. You can understand Rangers going off the boil and recently already sealing the title with that 3-3 win at Ibrox.
Paddy Powers always good for one of those.
Yeah. Big Duffy is going to stand everywhere. See, if you're a Hun and you're 31 years old or younger, you've never been able to legally go for a pint in a pub after having watched your team win the league. 31 years old, and I've never been able to celebrate your team winning the league in a boozer, utter dominance. Yeah, that one's an absolute stupid post. I didn't mean that one there. Here we go. Paul Byers on Twitter. In the summer of 2000, Celtic were on 78 trophies and Rangers were on 100. So that's actual Rangers, right? Rangers on 49 league championships, Celtic were on 36. If Celtic complete the double, it will be 18-18 on total trophies and 1 league championship between them. Unthinkable 24 years ago. The only issue I have with that post is the continuation lies brought into it. So if you're talking about the dead club and the new co, okay, fine, combined. But yeah, it's good fun. And yeah, it's that one we brought up as well already. So yeah, there's some absolute doozies out at the moment. It's like, and I didn't even go on the follow to get the crazy stuff because I couldn't really be bored.
Oh,
so,
it's something special. There was one the other night which hopefully has been deleted by now, but it blamed the what was it? It blamed the Allies for not putting the Vatican in their place after World War II. That is why Celtic won the league this week.
Oh, that is bad.
So, Andrew, to answer your question, Jared, did you have a bit of time on your hands today? Actually, no, I didn't. You know what happened with all this? That's just what's automatically in my phone from WhatsApp group chats that I'm in, just people sending random stuff that's in there. And when I got on here with Shane before, I just went, yep, that one, clicked on everything, just uploaded them in here then. So, and then Patrick's saying, did Suter punch Lundstram in the jaw at halftime? That's what I really want to know. Yeah, I've heard that too. Either way.
Suter hitting a target? Surely not.
Yeah. So yeah,
connecting with a challenge. Are you kidding me here? Come on.
Yeah, so good fun there. So I think what we'll do now is we will push on, and I'll have a simple question to ask you both. So I'll go to you first, Liam. Will Celtic win the league on Wednesday night against Killie or on the weekend against St Mirren? Or won't it matter because the Huns are going to drop points on Tuesday night in their game because, as Pete's saying, how are they going to get themselves up for the game on Tuesday? How's it going to play out this week, Liam?
I think it will be a draw on Tuesday, which would win us the league by default.
Default. Sorry, that was Simpsons.
It's really interesting, though, when you think about the different narratives, right? Because see, if we had lost that game at the weekend, suddenly we're thinking, oh no, we've got to go to Kilmarnock and win. Whereas now, I mean, I don't think it'll happen, but odds are we could probably lose the last 2 games and still win the league on goal difference.
Yeah, I'd rather not. I'll end up grey.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, it's amazing how just one game can completely change the entire story. You know, suddenly all the pressure's on them to just put on some kind of moral victory on Tuesday so that Celtic don't win the league for another 24 hours. I mean, that's what we've reduced them to.
Yeah, and Shane, so when are we winning the league?
We're winning the league on Wednesday night. We're winning it at Killie. We're getting out of there with like a 2-1 or 3-1. I was just looking at the league table. Doesn't look like Killie can catch Hearts. It doesn't look like Killie can be caught by St Mirren. So I'm not sure exactly what they've got to play for, to be honest. And no disrespect to them, but I think we're humming at the moment. And so I reckon we go there, even on the plastic, and we get out of there with a result that wins us the league.
That's what I was going to say as well. We'll definitely win it on Wednesday night because it's going to be pretty simple. How many times we lost at Killie this season? Twice. Perfect way to put that bygone that in the background and review mirror and just forget about it is to clinch a league title on that pitch, which has copped us, we've cocked up on a couple of times. So it's happening Wednesday night.
I wonder what Kilmarnock will do, though, because usually they're totally negative when they play us. But like you say, they've got 4th place sewn up. They can't get 3rd place. They'd be as well just coming out and having a go. But I don't think they will. But that is what they should be doing.
Will Derek McInnes send his guys out there to go studs up?
More than likely.
There you go. Yeah, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. The game actually a little later on in the pod. So we'll park that one there for a minute. So yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts here. We'll go to you first, Liam. Looking ahead, and we mentioned this early on. Do you see the board pushing on from here and giving Rodgers the resources required to have a serious go in Europe next season? Or do you think it's going to be more of the same bollocks next season?
I think that the summer we will see investment like we haven't seen since the Martin O'Neill era. But I don't think it will make a difference because the Champions League is an absolute freak show financially now anyway. I think we've got the tools to put in place complete domestic dominance for the next decade and beyond. But I don't realistically see how that's going to translate into European success. I don't mean to be negative, but just that Champions League is just the teams in the big five leagues are just on a completely different plane financially to everybody else. And until that changes, best we can hope for is to get a couple of results in the group stage.
Yeah, there's talk going around that they're going to be looking at the £5 million plus sort of range. And Maestro asked the question early on, will Scales and Taylor be first-team starters next season? I think Taylor would be going to the Bricky sort of role, so he'll be a reliable backup for the league. Scales should have the same role as well, where he drops into that, and we should be bringing in European quality level starters over both, the top of both of them. So it'll be goalkeeper, left back, left centre back, and then O'Reilly will probably move on. We'll need a quality attacking midfielder as well. They're the positions I see as a priority. We'll probably drop the best part of 20, 25 million on them, but we'll probably get 25 million for O'Reilly. So guess what? We come out, as a zero money spent, and we've gone and done that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. See how that is. But Shane, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I agree with Liam. I think it'd be utterly ridiculous if we were to get through this season and come out the way we have and win the league and not spend any money and not give Brendan some financial backing to have a dip in Europe. It would be, I can't quite think of the right word, but it would just be so ridiculous. We're at this point now where we've gone through a couple of windows where we've been really frustrated by the lack of spending in the squad. Brendan's been able to get a tune out of this team and win the league where, at different parts of the season, we were wondering how we'd progress and what we could do to make sure we did win the league. He's done that, and we're going to do it relatively comfortably in the end. So the board should reward that, and they should back Brendan, and we should be looking to have a fair dip at the Champions League. Now, whether or not we can spend enough to have a proper dip and do something in the Champions League, I don't know. I tend to share Liam's pessimistic views with that as well. But that shouldn't stop the board from actually giving Brendan a vote of confidence by giving him some more money to spend on the squad. It's the least he's earned with this performance towards the end of the season, and let's hope they see fit to do so.
So I'll bring up some comments here. So RL77 was saying it depends how many of the board already have heated driveways. Kaiser's saying Europa League is probably our level.
I think that particular door is closed off now, though, isn't it, with the new format?
What was that?
I don't think we can step down to the Europa League anymore from the Champions League.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
No, I don't. I think I'd have to double check, but I think once you're out, you're out.
Yeah. And then you got Pegleg saying if the money is spent properly, will make a difference, no doubt, but it must be spent.
Yeah.
Andrew's saying it's going to be more of the same. We'll move on. We'll move a few on, buy a couple of decent average players that may or may not work out. Celtic Corner saying I would like enough to get through the Europa League and have a good go at it. As you're just saying, if we go in the Champions League, I don't think we can drop down into it. If my memory's right. Kaiser saying I think Matt is worth well more than 25 million. Yeah, I was just saying it based on what the rumours were earlier in the season. I hope he breaks through that barrier for us as well. Mahesh, yeah, it might also be Hatade. We watch this space. Patrick saying the only way we play Europa League now is by finishing second in the league. Okay, cool. There it is. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see how we go it. And as Andrew says here, it was still basically Andrew's team. Rodgers needs some turnover in the squad to make it his, but don't expect major spending on quality. I think he's going to talk about needing quality, wanting quality, but what he's going to do is he's going to spend, as I said, we've got all this money in the bank, but we're probably going to be a net negative, a neutral sort of thing where if Hatade moves on, if O'Reilly moves on, we can expect, 45, 50 million for the two of them. Are we going to spend that 5 players at 10 million a pop or 6 players at 8 million a pop? Can we expect to see that? I don't think the club will do it because of the wages that have come with it, but we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I could be more positive about it, but I really just don't. I don't see the. Because the other thing is, on one hand, it's great we've won the league this year, but it's also the board will probably take the wrong message from it and think that's all we need now for dominance in Scotland. They'll quickly gloss over the fact that we were actually, pretty fortunate to get the championship this year. So I really hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong.
As Maestro says here, the board can't look at Rangers and use them as our yardstick. Have to aspire, raise the levels 100%. Realistically, if we go and get four or 5 players in that 8 to 10 million pound range, bring them in, first team quality starters that will improve us in Europe, which in turn means that the guys, instead of buying guys to challenge the incumbents, we're bringing guys in to start, which means the guys who are starting this season should be backups. And in like an ideal situation, I love Kyogo, don't get me wrong, but if we were to bring in someone to challenge him for a starting spot or come in who's supposed to start over him, that's going to make him have to raise his game again.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, we bring someone in that works, starting it works, and then you've got an absolute gun striker on the bench in Kyogo. It strengthens the overall squad. And then you can rotate players and you could have it like, okay, we're playing 8 games in Europe, so many games in the league. So what happens? You rotate your players. Everyone gets a game. So, yeah, it'll work out, I suppose, but we'll watch this space. So let's go to talk about the game against Killie at Rugby Park on Wednesday. So usually I'd say, what matchups do you want to look out for? Where will the game be won? Simple things like that. The key thing for me is I don't know if Armstrong's playing or not, but he's always been – his pace on the wing has caught us out a few times this season, so that's one I'd want to keep an eye on. And the other thing is keeping our shape and clearing the lines when they put their crosses into the box. We need a dominant effort from Scales and CCV at the back to clear everything that comes in, and off we go. So that's what I think. Shane, any particular players or matchups or anything like that, and where do you think the game will be won?
Well, the question is, I think, with it being the plastic pitch, whether we take the risk with a few players. And the first one I'm looking at is Maeda, whether we, actually have him front up and play on the plastic, considering he's still, relatively recently returned from injury. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see... I still think we'll go out with a strong team. So I'm thinking maybe Forrest moves to the left and Kun comes in on the right. And then everyone else picks themselves, really. So that's probably the only thing I'm looking at, whether we persist with Maid or whether we give him a rest on the plastic. And I'm guessing we will actually have him on the bench instead of starting.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, so I'm thinking Ralston will play because AJ took that knock. But other than that, Liam, what would be your starting lineup and everything else?
Yeah, I agree with the point on Maeda. I do think it's if there's any question at all, don't risk him because we're good enough to win the game without him. And I think that the cup final is the only game we have to really worry about after we, get this out of the way. I would possibly look at trying to bring Iwata into the team, depending on if any of the midfield 3 of McGregor, Hatate, or O'Reilly are feeling a bit sore from the weekend. Bring Iwata in, a slightly more physical presence, which might be more what you need against a team like Kilmarnock. But other than that, I would probably just go with pretty much the same starting lineup.
Fair enough. Shane, what are you thinking? Pretty much the same?
Yeah, pretty much the same, except I'd have Forrest on the left, Maeda on the bench, and Kun on the right. and everyone else exactly the same. Wouldn't mind Awada coming in for Hatate as well. And as you alluded to, AJ taking a pretty solid knock, probably earned a bit of a break as well. So Ralston comes in there. But yeah, I think everyone outside of that, the team picks itself really. So everyone else the same as what we had against Rangers on the weekend.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking. It'll be Kun starting on the right, Forrest left, and then, AJ down back. And, AJ out, Ralston in for him. And, we'll give our score predictions and then start to wrap up the pod. So I'll go first. 4-0. We're going to win. Liam.
3-0.
Shane.
3-1.
All right. There's a good question that's come through here. So, Maestro, I'll bring that up. Do you think there is a role for Ronnie Delia at Celtic Park overseeing youth development? My opinion, in an ideal world, I would love to see that. But I think he probably still has, career ideas of things that he wants to go and manage still. But if he wanted to come back and do that role, run the B team or whatever, and the youth academy or something like that, I'd be happy for him to get involved and do that. But I don't know what you boys think. Shane, Liam?
I'd be totally happy with it. I just agree with you. I think his aspirations might be a little bit above that at the moment. Honestly, I would like Melbourne Victory's potentially looking for a new gaffer in the new season. I don't think we could necessarily afford him, but I'd definitely be looking to see if we could snaffle him. I'd love to have him at the VUC. But even then, just even in Scotland, like there's a very strong possibility Nick Montgomery might lose his role or his job at Hibs after they got turned over 4-0 at Easter Road by Aberdeen after missing the split. So I think Monty's time at Hibs is numbered, and so Ronnie might be a candidate there as well. So I'd love it. Well, there you go. We're getting something good out of this at the VUC, I tell you what. But I'd love it. But I agree with you, Jared. I think maybe he's looking at the top role, being the gaffer somewhere else at a club instead of youth role.
So Patrick's saying, I think Ronnie wants the main gig at a club. RL 7070's Delia is actually qualified to do it, so no chance.
That's quite good.
I think Ronnie will end up managing in the J League. He just seems like the perfect fit for the clubs over here because there's such a big emphasis on youth development here. But it's not just about development; it's about getting those players into the first team and performing as soon as you can, and they augment it with like 1 or 2 foreign imports. And I think that's just right up Ronnie's street. I could see him coming to an FC Tokyo or maybe even a Yokohama in the future and doing really well.
Okay, going on a little tangent. What about Ronnie in the director of football role then?
Oh, aye.
If he's qualified for youth, he's been a coach, so he's got that idea. And he's been like guy covering off both when he was in the MLS. What about that role for him? If he doesn't want to go be a manager elsewhere, that's a role that I think could actually work if he wanted to come back to Celtic. But anyway, well, everyone can stew on that. We'll give a final thought and we'll finish the pod off. So, Shane, I'll let you go because I know what yours is going to be, and I was contemplating that, but over to you.
Well, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent. A lot of Hoops fans with a heavy heart on Friday afternoon, so basketball fans in this country with a heavy heart, when we got the news through that Corey Homicide Williams, prominent player and commentator for the NBL and basketball in Australia, unfortunately lost his battle with cancer on Friday. Corey was just a tremendous supporter of basketball in this country. He had a passion and a zest for it. It felt like every time he was on TV, every time he was talking about basketball, he was telling everybody how good basketball was in this country, how amazing the NBL was, and he was just celebrating it. And he had such a verve for life in general, but basketball in this country. And he was someone who I really enjoyed listening to, and I used to tune in whenever I could to hear what he had to say and hear his thoughts on things, but just know that he was going to celebrate basketball in this country. So, basketball in this country has had a rough time, but it's had a resurgence in the last 10 years, and you can attribute a significant amount of that to Corey and the work and energy he's put in about selling this product here. So, we couldn't have, those who love basketball, we couldn't have any greater friend for basketball in this country. So I just wanted to say, rest in peace, Homicide. Thanks for everything you've done for the sport in this country. And Hoops fans will be forever indebted to you for your celebration of our sport and league in this country. So rest in peace, mate.
R.I.P. Mr. 187. There we go. Liam, you got a final thought?
Yeah, well, we've said a lot about the game at the weekend today, and I just want to say something. I don't intend to denigrate Rangers supporters, and if any Rangers supporters are listening, that means look down upon.
My final thought is just, if you haven't done so, go to our YouTube channel and check out the Glasgow Derby day video we put up. It's good fun. Really enjoyed seeing it, and can't wait for the next Glasgow Derby where we get together at the pub and do that all over again in the cup final. So until then, and until the next podcast I think we've got the weekend review coming up in about 20 minutes. Other than that, see you on Thursday, I will, with the Thursday show. So until then, hail, hail.
Hail, hail.